Hey guys, welcome to a new live session from NZ Pocket Guide. Big news today. Laura is not playing Tetris as we start.
Yes.
That is a big start. Usually she does play a little bit of Tetris to sharpen the brain in the morning.
I'm almost becoming, more professional at doing these videos.
Wow.
Almost.
It's only video number 136 for those live sessions. So
yeah,
there you go.
I'm a slow learner.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to be talking about traveling in New Zealand because this is kind of what this channel is all about. Travel tips for New Zealand, showing you some awesome places to visit because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, this is Robin, and as Robin said, I am Laura, and we are the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. And it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands, and I'm working on more thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. Of course, when you are actually able to come to New Zealand, because yes, yet again, the borders are still closed at the time of recording, which is now mid-July 2021. So, but I mean, it's not too early to plan the perfect trip around the country. People do tend to come here for quite a long time, and it does take a lot of planning. So head over to nzpocketguide.com to do all that said planning. But if you're not really into reading, we do this handy live Q&A session here on YouTube at every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And if you want to know what time that is in your time zone, there is a handy link in the description below. And throughout this live session, we answer your guys' questions on the live chat. So go ahead and ask away right now. But otherwise, if you miss the live session, you can always put your questions in the comment section of any of our YouTube videos, and we'll be happy to go through those during the live session as well.
Here you go. And Fabio is in the house today. He finally made it. He's commenting literally on every single one of the live sessions, but like after the fact. And he was like, oh yeah, but first he was watching the football. Then
priorities.
Yeah. Then after, I strongly suspect he was playing some video games or falling asleep or stuff like that, let's be honest. So yeah. So Fabio is in the house and he says Morena. What does Morena mean, Laura?
It means good morning in the Maori language.
Nice one. And Fabio just gave us a donation of €5, which I think is the largest donation this channel ever received. So
thank you, Fabio.
Nice one. So from now on, Fabio, we're going to see your comments for the rest of the live session. Big, bright and blue or cyan blue.
Or green. That is.
Yeah, turquoise. it's a weird color. YouTube somehow just chooses some colors for some people. Sometimes it's pink. Sometimes it's... Yeah, so you are turquoise. Nathan Baith, which lives in Taupo, says, Kia ora, morning, Laura and Robin.
Kia ora.
And Anthony Comstock says, Morena from Rodeo, California. And he says, sorry, I wasn't here last week, but I was on the road and in the dead zone.
The dead zone.
What the hell is the dead zone?
I think that just means a place where you can't get internet.
I know, but it's a weird
there, Robin.
And he say, so I couldn't get your show on my phone, but I'm here today. People were waiting for you at the end of last week's live session, actually.
We did notice you weren't here, so you were very truly missed.
I think we had Nathan, actually, which is right here in the live chat. Nathan was impersonating you and was saying here, stay safe, but I'm here until the end or something like that. So he was taking over your job of telling us when the video is almost over. Anyway, so I hope that you guys had a pretty awesome week. So yesterday, I did release a video with some of our predictions for New Zealand borders opening. That was 7 months in the making. But as you guys could see, there's not much of a change of our predictions compared to the previous year. Just because things have basically stood still here in New Zealand for quite a while. However, in August, the New Zealand government is scheduled to actually give us a path forward. The New Zealand government will release their plan for reopening the borders, and that's going to be a consortium between the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of, there is like a guy which is in charge, like the Ministry of COVID-19, basically, this whole pandemic stuff. There is also the Ministry of Finance and obviously the New Zealand Prime Minister. So they're going to be doing a big announcement and show New Zealand all the data that they have and how they want to move forward with reopening the borders of New Zealand, because New Zealand won't be able to stay closed for too long. However, in other news, the New Zealand government, by way of Jacinda Ardern, which is the New Zealand Prime Minister, has not shown that they were very, very eager to reopen the border super fast. They're pretty happy with the fact that things are going to be different for a wee while, and it's okay. So there's a lot of mixed messages right here, and we'll cover those kind of news as they come through in the foreseeable future. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions about when will the borders open, there is a link in the description of this video to my latest video prediction. And I try to go much faster. So even just on our thinking behind it, and even just giving you the data, I try to go much faster in this video to keep it like under like about like 10 minutes. Turned out to be 11, but 10 minutes for the video in order to save you guys some time, because the last video was like 23 minutes. And so right here in this video, we are in this live session right now. If you have some follow-up questions, I'm happy to go over some of the questions that you had about this video predictions. I know a lot of you guys have watched it. We have Clay Bryan from Dunedin that says morning all, and we have Fabio that says at the moment we have a big thunderstorm at my place, so maybe I will lose the internet connection. Just be aware, it's not my fault. Well, the weather has been absolutely atrocious in New Zealand the last couple of days, and yes, there is also massive storm. There are flooding on the South Island. I mean, things are going absolutely crazy weather-wise.
Epic thunderstorm last night. I don't know what time it was, but I was lying in bed and I thought the end of the world was happening outside, but I was too lazy to go out and check. But yeah, it was really insane. I think it was like the loudest thunder I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was it just like so long as well. So yeah.
So again, super stormy right here in New Zealand. So same warning than Fabio. If the live session right now is shut off, it is because of the crazy weather that we are having. And it's, as I'm speaking, it's starting to rain yet again. So it's gonna be a day and a half today. So needless to say that we're not going out today. Okay, Baby Burns says hello guys. Adil says kia ora, Robin and Laura. Kia ora. And Baby Burns says kia ora for now. How are you doing? Cool. So we have a little bit of a segment where we go over a couple of news items which pertains to travel, and that is provided by a guy called Robert. He does the good job of like skimming through a ton of different media sources and give us some story that may be relevant to you guys. So we'll take the next 5 minutes to cover a bit of the travel news. And today, Laura is going to read the news because she really wanted to today.
Yeah, so can we get a news jingle, please? All right, thank you.
And now, the New Zealand travel news by Laura.
Yes, so we have a snippet here from The Guardian entitled, No Return to Normal Expected in Post-Pandemic New Zealand, and locals say that's fine. Polls show New Zealanders accept that life will be different in future and that they still feel their country is headed in the right direction. As countries look for post-pandemic pathway back to normal, New Zealand is making no promises, and its population seems startlingly happy with that. Around the world, some governments are hitting full throttle with rhetoric about return to normal and the freedoms of pre-pandemic world, and New Zealand's approach has been cautious by contrast. The government has made no assurances of a return to normal anytime soon, announced no multi-step pathway out, and put forward no timeline for reopening borders, even to vaccinated travellers. For the population, that messaging seems to have sunk in. The vast majority of New Zealanders, 91%, do not expect life to return to normal, even once they are vaccinated. In recent speeches and the media interviews, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has likened the COVID-19 pandemic to the 9/11 terror attacks in the US, in the sense that even after the immediate damage was cleared, the experience continued to transform the way countries approach security, travel, and immigration. After 9/11, our borders changed forever, and our borders are likely to change quite permanently as a result of COVID-19, Ardern said.
So it's kind of expected. Things are going to be really different post-COVID. And actually, there is already some strong hints that New Zealand is going to require some type of vaccinations in order to come into the country. So that's going to, things are going to change quite a lot. And that made me think about vaccination passport. So we already have had our vaccination passport for years now. But obviously, we did show up when we did the COVID-19 vaccine with our vaccine passport to get it updated. You guys saw that on the video. And I just started a poll right here to ask you guys if you do have a vaccine passport already, or if you're planning to getting one, which would be quite interesting for us to know, because that's probably going to be the future. And we may even see temperature checks at the airport becoming the new norm, to be quite fair.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next piece of news from News Hub. And this is about P&O's Pacific Explorer to host New Zealand's inaugural country cruise in November 2022.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! So, P&O Cruises Australia has done what many of us thought was becoming near impossible by announcing a cruise around New Zealand, and it's no normal cruise either. Country music fans may want to put their cowboy boots and band dance their way into the harbour for this one. New Zealand's inaugural country cruise, the Hoodang, will take place aboard P&O's Pacific Explorer, departing Auckland on November 11th, 2022, and will last for 3 nights.
So yeah, cruises are going to restart, but obviously right now they have to tailor to the local market, and they just try to come up with something which will entice people. It's only a 3-night cruise, so it's going to be quite fast.
Yeah.
And it's all about just the entertainment. So they clearly have a market, and they're clearly just going after that market of people that's going to enjoy that. Also, hi Sandra.
All right.
Next
Are you going to
news.
be going on the cruise, or?
I am not going. I do not look good with a cowboy hat, so no,
No.
I'm not going on a cruise.
Okay.
But I'll send you.
All right. I'll have fun. So next up, we have a piece from the Western Australian, and it's entitled New Zealand Secures Pfizer Jab Surge. Okay, so Jacinda Ardern has fulfilled her promise to obtain a surge of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for New Zealand. On Wednesday, the government confirmed it would receive 2.5 million doses of the vaccine across July and August, enough to partially vaccinate half the country. The arrival of much-needed vials comes as the country plans to a dramatic liftoff and its under 5 vaccination rollout. New Zealand sits 125th in the world behind Australia for doses administered per capita.
Yeah, well, we are going very slow at the vaccination rate. But we at least
125th in the world.
Yes, 125th in the world is pretty bad. So at the moment, we have about between 18 and 20% of the eligible population which has received their first dose only. So that means Laura and I, we have our first dose already, and but that doesn't mean we're immune right now, because we need the second one, and you need to wait 3 weeks, I think, after the second one, or 2 weeks after the second one, to be immune. So New Zealand is going pretty slow, but at least we do have the dose. So here you go. We are at the ready for a big rollout. The New Zealand government did release some graphs showing like how they wanted to implement things, and the graphs were absolutely terrible. So they had to rework them. Actually, after I did point out how terrible they was, I saw in the news that they had to rework the graph because they were so unfair.
Didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we are, getting things together, and the vaccination, the big rollout of the vaccination is probably going to start. They try to aim for the end of July, but we're already very close to the end of July. So let's stay, good kickstart. Let's stay for the beginning of August, hopefully. All right, last news that we're going to cover, just because you guys are mentioning it quite a lot. And we have RAC 81710, which is actually, his name is Ashwin. And he says, so in the news that the South Island received its heaviest rain since the 40 years. Is it true? So yes, the South Island right now is under really, really, really heavy storm. The New Zealand Army has been helped to evacuate about 600 homes on the West Coast. It is just a really terrible weather at the moment in New Zealand. So yeah, there is a lot of water in New Zealand right now, so things are not going to be dry for too long. But yeah, there is a lot of storm, and we are bracing ourselves for a couple of extra days, or maybe about a week, but like a couple of days of really heavy stuff, and then it's going to start slowing
down.
And
I think maybe it wasn't this time last year, but the year before on the West Coast, they had so much rainfall then that it was like notorious for roads being flooded out, and people were stuck in Franz Josef Glacier. I mean, it's not a bad place to be stuck, but the West Coast on the South Island really does get a lot of hammering during winter time. So just a heads up, if you guys are ever traveling in winter, be prepared. You might get stuck there.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to go back onto the comments. I'm going to go a little bit backward and read every single one of your comments, as I do all the time. So we're starting with Fabio that says, our neighbor country, Germany, has some massive floods. There are at least 100 people killed by the floods. So yes, the weather is really bad.
Wow.
And he apologized for some of his autocorrect because he's writing in English. And then he continued by saying, as a vaccination coordinator, I'm fully vaccinated and I have an international vaccination passport. Oh. Nice one. So yeah, so we have the international vaccination passport as well. By the way, if you guys just joining in, please answer the poll and tell us if you do or do not have a vaccination passport yet. That's very interesting for us to know what's the situation a little bit around the world, rather than just, in our little country of New Zealand.
Yes, we're very isolated over here. We don't know what's going on.
Yes. Baby Burns say, we're often looking for cheap accommodation, but if you have unlimited budget, what's the accommodation, hotel or glamping that you will choose to spend some nights in New Zealand, especially in the South Island? Well, the first one I will say, it's not on the South Island, it's on the North Island. You can pick one on the South Island if you want, but I will absolutely want to stay at Huka Lodge, which is nearby Taupo. It's literally where like the Bill Gates and I think Obama stay there as well. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like the poshest kind of super place. And I just want to see, like, honestly, it's not because the location's amazing and all that. The reason why I would like to go and spend a night at Huka Lodge is just to see what's the deal. Like, why is it the place that Obama will choose to stay at? You know, like what makes it the place that Obama chooses to stay at?
I think it's just literally because it is the fanciest place to stay in.
Maybe,
Taupo.
I don't know.
And he would choose to stay there rather than, you know, Finley Jack's YHA.
All right, so that would be the one I would choose. Laura, which one would you go to?
In the South Island, there is a cool-looking place called the Lindis, and it's a really fancy accommodation, which is kind of it's in a hill, so it, you know, grass goes over the top of it. I guess that's to make it sort of blend in with its surroundings, and most of its surroundings is a beautiful like grassy valley, and then beyond that, lots of snow-capped mountains. So, you know, the South Island is renowned for its beautiful scenery, and I think staying at the Lindis is kind of what that is all about, like, you know, being able to see the scenery for the entire time that you're there. And it just looks dead fancy, and I don't think I would ever pay to go there because, you know,
it's a lot of money.
I think
it's literally the cost of a trip to another country.
Yeah, so I think I'm still happy just staying at, well, Finley Jack's YHA.
What do you have against Finley Jack's YHA?
It's the first hostel that I think we talked about it recently, so like a hostel that just comes to mind. But anyway,
well, the Omarama Top 10 Holiday Park. That would be a good place
that
to
would
stay.
actually be.
It has really fantastic view on the South Island.
That's pretty close to the Lindis, actually. Yeah. So I would rather stay at the holiday park in Omarama, which we did. We did do that.
Okay, what else do we have? That's a good question, baby. But she or he, I think she said last time that she's a she. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But she always comes with really good questions. I like it. Where are we at? We have Hafiz Ula that says, hello, guys. I need to ask a couple of questions from you. I want to visit New Zealand once for all. So how many months should I plan for? So he say, I saw working while backpacking on your channel. How does that work? You work 1 week and then 1 week you travel and come back again for 1 week? No. So Hafiz, just a quick amount of information about working while backpacking in New Zealand. You need to get a working holiday visa, and you have to be from one of the 42 eligible countries that can get one. So it's a different visa. It's a visa for 12 months. It is a whole... it's a whole nonsense to organize. So check out Working Holiday Visa New Zealand. And if you search that on YouTube or anything, you will find our videos that will cover this subject. We also do have a ton of information on NZ Pocket Guide about the Working Holiday Visa in New Zealand. So I'm going to show you quickly how that one works. So you are on NZ Pocket Guide right now. I hope that it is working. Yes, it is. Nice. And then you go on Work here and you click on Working Holiday Visa just right there, and there you will be able to there's an ad. We want to close that ad.
I've been getting a lot of those ads recently.
You're supposed to, so I put the limit because obviously we need to make some money, so there's some ads on the side, but I put the limit is once per hour, so you should only get one of those ads once per hour. Anyway, so here you have how to get a Working Holiday Visa. So you have a full article on how to get a Working Holiday Visa. Let's test my theory. Yeah, you see that doesn't do it anymore. It's just once per hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you spend 12 hours on our site,
I do literally spend 12 hours on our site per day. So.
So you are all of that. It will tell you the eligibility. You can have the list of eligible countries right here. So this is the research that you need to do. Now, this is not for everybody, and there is a lot of countries that can't do the Working Holiday Visa in New Zealand. So with that in mind, if you want to explore most of New Zealand and have a real blast in the country, a month will give you a lot of time. Obviously, if you can make it 2 months, it's amazing. But a month will give you a lot of time. And we do have some prepared itinerary for you on the same website I showed you that should help you see most of the country in New Zealand.
Yeah. Also, most visitor visas, of course, check your what your visitor visa conditions are for the country that you're coming from. But most visitor visas to New Zealand allow you to stay in New Zealand for up to 3 months. So you could be traveling around the country for up to 3 months if that does apply to you. But do bear in mind that that doesn't allow you to work. You have to actually have like a proper working visa or a working holiday visa in order to work. But on a visitor visa, you're here for 3 months. That is that would be an amazing amount of time to come to New Zealand if you were only to do it once in a lifetime and really plan, a time in your life to come and do that. Then by all means, that's a really awesome option.
All right. And if you do want to check out some ideas of itinerary, we have trip IDs right here, and you have 1 month trip. You click right there on nzpocketguide.com, and you'll be able to find like our favorite 30 days trip, depending if you're on a budget, if you travel with your family, if you're on a honeymoon, if you want to treat yourself and go for luxury and all that. So we have a lot of inspiration at the ready for you. But if you do have some more specific questions, very happy to go over them for you, Hafiz.
Cool.
Okay, David Burrow is here. Oh man, you did it. You made it to the live session. Sending David comments a lot on our videos, but say they never see to the live session.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So yeah, that's cool to have David on board. And he says, unfortunately, we don't have the option of getting a vaccine passport in the US, but I do have my COVID vaccine cards though. You don't have a vaccine passport options in the US? I'm pretty sure you do. Some of my friends say they had one, so maybe
you get them usually from medical centers,
yes.
right? So it's not like a passport, as in I don't know.
No, it's not really. It's not super official. Like it doesn't have biometric stuff and everything like that. But it's just kind of a record of what it looks like. I may actually do a video of ours in New Zealand, so it may get you guys to understand a little bit what it is. As an item itself, it's not the craziest thing. It's literally just a record of what are all your vaccines and how up to date they are.
Because some infants, like children get a lot of vaccines, and then your parents are given like a record of that, and it's essentially the same as that, but entitled like travel vaccination passport.
Yeah, in France we used to have that. It's kind of like when I was a kid. I was born in France, so when I was a kid, we used to have like a blue book, which was like kind of like about that size. It was really thick because you had like a record of every single time you go to the doctor, and the doctor used to write like what you went to do for and everything, and at the end you had like all your jabs and everything like that. So I think that it is in kind of some form and shape. Pretty much every country has one. It may not be called vaccine passport or something. Yeah,
or vaccine record maybe.
Yeah. So speaking of that, guys, if you're just joining right here, do use the little poll options on the live chat right now to tell us if you do have a vaccine passport already, or if you're planning on getting one. It would be quite interesting for us to know what's the situation in your country and how is it going. So far, I'm really intrigued because most of you guys don't have one, and you're not even planning to get one. Because there's two options. There's no or no, but I would get one soon.
So that means they are planning to get one. No, but I will get one soon.
No, there's two options. So 17% of you guys say no, but I would get one soon. But 44% of you guys just say straight out no.
That's how maths works.
Yes, that's how it works. Cool. All right. Where are we on? Can you read Anthony Comstock's comment?
Anthony says, we don't have the vaccine passports yet, but I do have my card. What happens then? How did we do? What happens then? How did we do? I guess in terms of Robin's poll, that's acceptable. So yeah, what they do also in New Zealand as well is give out the card of when you've had both your doses of the vaccine, or I mean, there are different types of vaccines, but yeah, they currently just are giving out cards at the moment. But to be honest, when we were doing our vaccination,
we did confuse them.
We did confuse them, yes. So we did take in our travel vaccination passports, and we said, "Oh, can you update this?" And then, but usually they have like a sticker or some sort of stamp to record when you're getting, each vaccination. But they hadn't actually come up with a process to do that with like the Pfizer vaccine. So we actually had to one of the nurses had to handwrite it all. But we also were going to staple in that card as well, just in case, what we got in our vaccination passport isn't official enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the card is kind of the way to go at the moment for the COVID vaccines.
Yeah, I mean, any record you can get anywhere at this stage, kind of go ahead with that, get all the records you can get, and then there is probably going to be something more unified that's going to come out.
Yeah.
Like back in the days when passports were not necessarily a thing, or travel documents were all different in every country. Then there was some more international kind of standard that came into place, and then everything was more standardized, and that's probably going to happen with vaccinations. I am sure there are some government officials working in the UN or something like that, toward the standardization of healthcare tracking with vaccination tracking for travelers, and I'm pretty sure this will be implemented post-COVID. And that's one of the things that was hinted in the news, that things will be different in the travel world post-COVID. All of those questions and comments are actually very insightful. I really do enjoy this live session so far today. Okay, Rack says that, Ashwin says that he came in 2019 in August, and at that time there was no rain at all. Yeah, well, the weather has been extremely changing due to global warming. So yeah, sometimes it's going to be absolutely stormy, sometimes it's going to be super dry, and
actually,
it's more unpredictable. Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, August tends to be a little bit of a drier month compared to July. August is sort of going towards the end of winter in New Zealand. So August and September are really amazing times to travel around the country because it's still really quiet. It's still kind of winter, but the weather's not too crazy. It's just a little bit cold.
Yeah. Anthony Comstock says, what if all you got is the vaccine card? Well, for now, get everything that you get, right? Because, as I mentioned, there's nothing standardized just yet. So right now, get everything you can. And at some point, we will get some information, for example, from the New Zealand government. They're going to say, this is exactly what we require from travelers. And if the New Zealand government decide we require said document, this document is likely to be available in most countries. Otherwise, they wouldn't put that as a requirement if it's not an available document. So get all the information and all the paperwork that you can get right now. It's always handy to have. And then as soon as we know exactly what paperwork you may need, we obviously will cover that extensively on here. Where are we? Okay. Ashwin says, I'm not talking politics here, but since other countries have opened borders for tourism, don't you people think you are losing them? If you do rewind at the beginning of the video, we covered a little bit of news, and the overwhelming majority of New Zealanders are actually supporting what the New Zealand government is doing. So the population thingy is not really kind of fear of losing something. So yeah, it's more like, from what we hear from our Kiwi friends, it's not necessarily like we miss the tourists, it's like we miss going out and be tourists elsewhere. That's mostly what we're actually hearing. So the general population doesn't really think that, but when it's going to come down to about 2 to 3 years down the line, and with some economic repercussion to that, I think that some people are going to have a couple of regrets. But on the other hand, you never going to have the chance to see, like, it's a what if, right? Like, okay, maybe we should reopen, but then what if we have an outbreak right here? If we do have an outbreak and we only have about 18% of the population here in New Zealand with just the first dose, it could go really bad. So, it's kind of like, I think we are close to getting a big amount of vaccination. I hope by the end of the year, we're going to have high rates of vaccination in New Zealand, and then it's going to be safe to reopen. So, if we haven't opened by now, may as well wait. It's super safe to open. I feel like it's either open super early or open when you're safe. Yeah,
in New Zealand, because, the government's taken a really cautious approach to it, and everyone has been like, most people have been pretty good. When there was a lockdown, everyone was staying isolated and stuff. So I feel like to sort of undo that hard work now is probably something that the government don't really want to go back on, and just sort of wait it out a few more months, hopefully just a few more months, and then start sorting some stuff out.
But again, check out in the description of this video, there's a link with our latest prediction. Literally, the video was posted yesterday and I recorded it on Friday. So literally, it was a quick turnaround. I recorded it less than 12 hours before it was posted. So I recorded it, edited it, and posted it straight away for you guys. So it's kind of like super fresh predictions. So check that out and you see what we think maybe the roadmap for New Zealand going forward. And we'll have more info in news. So make sure to stick around, subscribe, all that good thing. And yeah, by the way, I'm supposed to tell you to hit the like button, guys.
Only
YouTube
8
is telling
likes
me.
we're seeing here compared to 22 people. Come on, guys.
Yes, it means a lot to click on that button. Okay, we're gonna keep going on through all the comments. Nathan says, I like the suggestion for Hookah Lodge. Yeah, that was pretty expensive place to stay at. Baby Burns says, I'm 100% good looking guy.
Okay.
So you and I have something in common, I guess. He says, no Milford Sounds Lodge or no fancy hotel in Mount Cook. Well, you asked us to pick one. So yeah, there are some cool locations in Milford Sound, like in the Milford Sound Lounge itself. There are some like cool cabins and everything, but we did stay in a holiday park already in our own camper. So
I would say, yeah, Milford Sound Lodge it's a nice accommodation, but it's not super luxurious. It's very overpriced. It's priced to what you would expect a luxurious accommodation to be, but because it's in such an isolated place and they're the only real accommodation at Milford Sound, that's why their prices are so high. And that's not necessarily because they are, 5 stars or anything. They're more like a 4-star hotel, but they do have a holiday park as well. So they do have more sort of budget style accommodation there as well. It's just expensive budget, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But for fancy hotels in Mount Cook, there is the Hermitage Hotel. So that's like the style of the hotel is like it's like an internet. Oh, sorry, it's about to cough then. It's the style of like an international style hotel and has about 4 or 5 different like places to eat in there. It has even like like a museum inside the accommodation as well, and runs
planetarium as well.
Yeah, planetarium. It runs a lot of its own activities there, so that's definitely one of the sort of more luxurious accommodations in New Zealand as well. But when we stayed at Mount Cook, we stayed in an accommodation run by the Hermitage Hotel, but it is like their budget version, and it was still pretty nice. I think it was just called Milford Sound Lodge, Mount Cook Lodge. But a lot of the accommodations at Mount Cook are all named very similarly, so it's quite hard to know which one you're actually staying at. But yeah, I'll stop talking about Milford Sound, and Mount Cook.
You can. I know you love those things.
I know.
Cool. Benny Grayling is back. Hi, how are you doing, Benny? By the way, thanks to the 6 of you guys that clicked like on the video as soon as Laura asked. I feel like when Laura asks, everybody clicks on like. When I ask, people are like, meh.
Well, ask now and see if...
I got one here. You
there you
one
go.
person. You're nice. You're a nice person that just clicked like. You're a nice person. All right. So Benny Grayling says, just say hi. Keep up the great work and thank for the awesome content you guys are producing. Oh, thank you very much, Benny.
That's nice.
And I know that was you, Benny, that just clicked like right now. You know what's annoying is that you don't see who's clicking like. We just see a random number and we just see a red YouTube warning saying, nobody's clicking like. Tell them to click like. Okay, by the way, guys, if you're just joining right now, there is a survey saying, do you have a vaccine passport? Go ahead and vote on there. That'd be quite cool for us to understand what's happening to you guys. All right, places on the list say the US issued a card with your shot showing data and vaccine type. Interesting. So there is some type of paperwork. It may not be called vaccine passport, but there is some stuff. Fabio is talking to David, so I'm going to let them chat together. HBDE NTRG, that is a name and a half. It says, it's a shame that the planet is at risk from so many people without the proper information. Yeah, I agree. And that's why we try to not say things that we don't know of. Like quite often we tell you guys, well, you need to go to that link or you need to check this because we just don't know. And we don't want to spread misinformation. But yeah, I agree with you. Okay, Hafiz say, thank you so much. You have explained everything so nicely and in details. I got your point. I will have to get a working visa beforehand, especially for limited countries. I see if Germany is in it. Yes, Germany is in the working holiday visa scheme. Secondly, if I get a 3-month tourist visa and I plan to see the whole of New Zealand, what should be my average expenses for a month? Could be assumed as backpacking. Do you recommend me more than 6 weeks traveling? I'm going to find a channel of yours full of information. So for backpacking, it will depend a lot of obviously how you want to go about it, right? If you come for 3 months, you have the option to either buy a car and try to sell it afterwards or to rent a car along the way. You can also use bus network. There's plenty of different bus network and all that. So if we were to actually go about month by month, I will say, and obviously I will obviously need a lot more information from you to be able to kind of understand that. But let's say about $1,500 worth of transportation a month. I will say about I will put the $30 a day. That's $900 for food. That's $30 a day for food about. So that means you cook for yourself in hostel mostly, if you can. For accommodation, we will put at $50, so $1,500 for accommodation. So far we are at $3,900. Then I'm gonna add some activities. It depends on what kind of activities you want to do, but I'll add $2,000 per month on activities because you want to do a lot of things if you come to New Zealand, right? So that's bring us to 5,900 New Zealand dollars per month, and then you have to add, obviously your insurance, your flight, and all that. So I will let you check those things out yourself, and you obviously need to add extra money for emergency or for extra things that you may want to do or extra costs and stuff like that. So I will add about $1,000 a month on that. So let's round it up to between $7,000 and $8,000 a month if you just want to actually travel and have a really good holiday in New Zealand.
And that's New Zealand dollars.
Yes, New Zealand dollars, and that will make it between $1,500 to $2,000 a week, which sounds about right for a good trip around New Zealand.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just on top of my head, quick math right here. It really depends on what you plan to do and how you plan on doing it.
Yeah, you can definitely go much cheaper than that, and you can definitely go much higher than that.
Yeah. So same thing on the website, nzpocketguide.com. There's come on, it's coming. Yeah, here. It's right here. Go on the website and go on plan your trip and then budget. And there's literally the cost of life in New Zealand, the cost of traveling in New Zealand, the cost of backpacking in New Zealand. We literally itemize everything for you. So nzpocketguide.com. Plan your trip, budget. Boom, you're going to get all your information, mate.
Budget boom.
Budget boom. Robert is here. He's the guy that you guys can thank for the news segment at the beginning of this live session.
Yes, our news producer.
That's funny. He says, all travelers, including Canadian citizens and residents, must self-isolate for 14 days on arrival. COVID passport don't mean anything here. So in Canada right now, having a COVID passport doesn't really help, but maybe in the future. Emoji guy is here with plenty of emojis. Ashwin says, thank you so much for you guys for your information. Have you ever visited India? No, but I always wanted to. I always dreamed to go to an Indian wedding. I know it's a big party and there's plenty of food. And Laura just want to go there for the curry. Laura can't know about anything. She just wants the curry. No, I also want to see the elephants. Mosen says New Zealand immigration cancelled and planning to refund all visitors' visa application that applied before COVID. Yeah, we did cover that last week during the news. Yeah, they are working on that at the moment. HBDEMTRG. Whew, that's a name and a half again. Since you are French, Laura, since you are French, okay. Since you are French, my two choices of countries to move to from the US is France and New Zealand. How do you compare the cost of living? Well, first, it'd be easier for you to live in New Zealand because you don't have to learn a new language. The cost of living, listen, I left France 17, 16 years ago. I don't really know the cost at the moment. I just don't know. I have a video actually on the channel where I compare the difference between New Zealand and France. It's entirely in French. So like that, you can watch the video and see if your French is good enough to move to France. But yeah, so I've done that video. My French is atrocious, by the way, and that video is pretty awful. But yeah, so I compare kind of a lot of different aspects, like shopping and everything like that. But I can't compare the cost of life because I have spent most of my adult life not in France. I spent time in the US, where you are. I spent
How
time
much
in
was
Canada.
a baguette when you were a kid? You said that to me.
I think it was 50 cents.
Wasn't it even before they turned to euros?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I used to buy baguettes in France, and it was still in francs, so we don't even have euros. That's to tell you.
So that's how much times will have changed since Robin can remember how
so
much.
No, I was in France when we switched to the euro. Laura, I'm not that old. Stop it. But yeah, no, I that's the thing. We literally just talk about not giving misinformation right here. I'm trying to, as I'm talking right now, I'm trying to actually come up with some examples and everything like that. I just can't. So I don't think I'd be the right source of information for you for that specific questions. But comparing kind of life and stuff like that with it, we have a full video. I think I talked for 40 minutes in it. I gave a lot of information on that. I did about a week of research before that. So yeah, so there is a lot of information on that video, but cost of life, I wouldn't be able to compare that for you. Sorry. Fabio says France is a little bit more, let's call it, not immigrant friendly, and I would definitely prefer New Zealand. Well, here you go. That's an one man's opinion for you. Baby Burn says in the phone or tab, like the like button were not appeared because of the chat.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, anyway, if you've watched us on the phone, don't click like if it's a hassle. That's okay.
Yeah.
It mostly pleases YouTube, right? We know that if you guys are actually watching the video, we know that you like you. I think it's a good thing for YouTube because they use that in the algorithm to kind of show our videos to more people. So it technically does help us a little bit. But if it's a hassle to you, we do the videos for you guys that have done enough research to find our channel. We by no means are really famous, popular channel or very, we do content which is somewhat boring, right? We just share information. None of the videos are amazingly edited or anything.
We're not very entertaining.
Yeah, it's all about the meat of the content more than anything. So you guys have done the research, you find us. We don't have 100,000 like subscribers or anything like that. It's okay, not a million subscribers. We, in our opinion, we should get much more, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, if it's a hassle for you, don't click like. If it's not a hassle, do it.
You've already made it here. That's all we can ask.
Exactly. Martina from Northern Germany over there. She says, that was me who clicked like. Oh, here you go.
Yay.
I like that. I like to know who to say. And yes, I have. Sorry, there were some typos. She said, yes, I have an international vaccine passport and a digital COVID pass.
Ooh,
what is a digital COVID pass? You guys in Germany are always ahead of the curve. You guys are always like developing new things.
That will probably come to New Zealand in about 10 years.
So yeah. So and that's exactly what I was trying to explain, right? A lot of different countries are going to do things different. So right now we have places on the list. We have what's his name? Anthony Comstock. And we have David Burrow. We have a bunch of people in the US right now that tell us they just need to have a COVID card. Robert, it looks like your vaccination details didn't work for him in Canada. You in Germany, Martina, says that you have a digital COVID pass. For us, we have an international travel vaccine passport. So everybody has like different paperwork. So I think there need to be a standardization. And I do not see a world right now that they're not working on it. I know for a fact they're working on something like that. Even maybe integrating it into your e-passport. Like everybody has an e-passport now. You just scan at the airport. You're like, why so flashy? Well, they may just add that as an information on your e-passport. That may be one of the simplest way to implement it. I do not see a way where they don't do
something techie.
Fabio says that in Austria they have a digital vaccination passport. So not even just Germany, Austria as well. So you see, I feel like everybody has something different. So I think at the beginning, when things are going to open, I think pretty much everything will be accepted. It's going to be kind of like, okay, well, you need to have a vaccine proof. Sometimes Immigration New Zealand does that. For the working holiday visa, for example, they say you need to have proofs of funds. When you have a working holiday visa in New Zealand, you have to have proof of funds. But they don't say too much of what that is, So it's a printout of your bank statement that works, or those kind of. So it's kind of like everybody will have something slightly bit different. Some people come literally with a check, and those kind of things. Yes, I think it's gonna be standardized. Extreme Talauta says Morena. If you guys don't know, Morena means good morning Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand. Anthony Comstock says, as far as vaccine passport goes, I would get it if we had it, but we don't. So if they get a passport, I guess he probably said I will get it.
Yeah.
HBDE MTRG says, even Uruguay in South America has that so-called digital vaccine passport. Well,
that's how behind the times we are in New Zealand.
Yeah, you should see some of the website of the people we're mentioning on our.
You should listen to some of the radio stations in New Zealand. They're playing music from from the early 90s as if they're brand new.
Yeah. Have you guys ever played a video game called 2 Point Hospital? If you play a video game called 2 Point Hospital and if you have laughed at what the fake radio within the game is, well, it's pretty much basic New Zealand radio.
Wow, that's a very niche comparison.
Yes. But you have to play that game to. Yeah, here you go.
If you've played 2 Point Hospital, let us know in the comments because I'm suspecting there's not going to be anyone.
Fabio says the whole Europe will get a digital passport as soon as possible due to the border restrictions within the EU. The EU. Nice.
UE.
Oh, well, in French we say EU.
Oh,
so
do you?
that's-
Okay.
Sometimes when
bad.
I read it too fast.
Yeah.
It's a problem for us
Yeah.
bilingual people. You know,
Yeah,
so
we
like-
don't have that problem
Yeah.
being lazy English people.
No. So I think one of the things also that may happen is that New Zealand will devise first its own solution, probably something that will work with Australia and some of the South Pacific islands, which is kind of like, probably one of the first bubble that's going to happen. And then this solution is going to be integrated with other people's solution along the way.
Indeed.
So yeah, that's my take. Do you want to read what Kalo says?
Kalo
Hey, Kalo, how are you
says-
doing?
I'm here in support and not able to chat today. Well, that's all right. Thanks for letting us know you're here.
The goal is for us to do the chatting. By the way, guys, I'm about to close the survey, so go ahead if you just joined. Do you have a vaccine passport? The survey is in the live chat right now. Please click yes, no, or no, but I will get one soon because I want to know if it's something that is on your agenda or not. It's very interesting for me to know that more, so far about half of you guys don't have one. So keep on using the poll. I will close it in about 5 minutes. And we have emoji guy that says, got to go later, Robin and Laura, and a bunch of emojis.
Woo,
You guys have been going
woo.
nuts on the emojis today, by the way. I really appreciate it. I love the emojis.
It makes the live chat look more colourful.
Yeah, I know, because sometimes you just get a bunch of text. You wouldn't be, you can't really realize how small those things are, but yeah, it's pretty small.
Maybe when you can see our noses almost touching the laptop screen here, you probably can see how small it is. But
You can guess how small
Yes.
how small things can get for us right here. So, new things coming up on the channel for this week, guys. Something to look forward to. Next Saturday, we are going to be telling you the 11 worst travel advice for New Zealand we've ever received. Some people that gave us travel advice, and they were absolutely ridiculously stupid advice. So we thought that'd be kind of funny. So we walked you through some of the worst travel advice we've ever received. Also for us on Thursday, we are going to get our second dose of the vaccine. It may be the opportunity for us to do another video to answer all the questions you guys had for during the first video that we made with the vaccine. And on NZ Pocket Guide, and I want to show that to you guys because Laura was hard at work. And I really want you to actually see this. Here you go. Laura has published on NZ Pocket Guide. Let me just double check that you guys see it. Yeah. 101 things to do in New Zealand, her ultimate list. So literally the 101 things that we like the most. So we did something really cool. We did kind of a battle of items. So we both kind of listed like a bunch of stuff that we really liked, and then it was kind of like, is that better than that? And we kind of argument with each other, and then that helped us kind of build a list, which is pretty cool.
There were spreadsheets involved and everything.
Yeah, so here you go, 101 things to do in New Zealand. So if you guys want to get inspired, honestly, right on our homepage, 101 things. I'm just unphasing that a lot because that was a lot of work, guys.
That took like 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days to write that.
2 days to write it, and much more time to actually get it done. So check that out and see what we like in New Zealand. There's obviously much more than that to do, but just kind of like we thought.
Yeah, it's a good starting point to sort of springboard your way onto any more activities that you might be interested in looking at further, because yes, we do put a lot of links in our articles to help you find more information. So if anyone's ever been on our website, nzpocketguide.com, what people tend to do is that they find one article and then they find another article and then another one that applies to them, and you could be there for quite a long time. So yeah, I really try and make sure everything is linked together so you guys can like find all the information that you're looking for to plan the perfect trip super easily.
It will be barely an inconvenience to find your way.
Yes.
Another niche joke. All right, 2 minutes until I close the survey, guys. So if you're just joining in, answer the survey in the live chat right now. Do you have a vaccine passport? In the meantime, we have Nathan Bates, which is finding it very funny, the idea of doing a video about the 11 worst travel advice we received. Yeah, we thought it was kind of fun. Laura and I were just going on a hike not that long ago, and we had the GoPro. We're like, you know what? Let's just talk about nonsense, and that would be funny. Fabio is congratulating Laura for her job, and Nathan also says, well done for the list.
Thanks.
Baby Burns says, by the way, please list or make a compilation video of those cool cabins or camping that you guys have mentioned before. It would be great. Thank you guys. You are the best. Sorry, which the really expensive one, we didn't stay there. We just know of them. We didn't stay in Hookah Lodge or in Lindis Pass. But yeah, so
the Lindis, Robin.
The Lindis, sorry,
the
Lindis. So yeah, so no, we did not stay there. So I won't be able to do a video compilation of those things. But yeah. So maybe I misunderstood your question. If you want,
I think that might be what he was referring to.
Yeah?
So someone was asking earlier, like, what's the most?
That's him.
Oh, that was him. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm unsure what you're asking. This is why I got the confused face, and this is why you got the confused face as well. As soon as I say it was him. Cool. All right, so I'm about to close the survey, guys. Let's see some results. You guys want me to do more polls, so now I do a poll every time. Now,
28 votes.
Yes, I'm ending the poll. I let YouTube compile the whole thing. 28 of you have voted.
Not the expensive one, but the small little cabin will do. Which small little cabin did we talk about?
I'm unsure. I get confused.
We were talking about a Milford Sound Lodge.
So it's the same place. Okay, so yeah. So, okay, I remember. So the two things that we were comparing, right? So in Milford Lodge, you don't have to stay in an expensive lodge. You can go with your camper van and pay for a power site, which is what we did. And so it's the same place. It's called the Milford Sound Lodge, and you have access to the same or to similar facilities. And so yes, that's just a normal holiday park. For Mount Cook, it's called the Mount Cook Lodge. And yeah, if you just type Mount Cook and NZ Pocket Guide, you will find us literally like every morning waking up there and then go to do our activity. So you'll be able to find videos of that. And same thing, if you type Milford Sound and NZ Pocket Guide, you will find us doing, waking up there and doing our videos there and everything like that. So yeah, so we do have video of those two things already, if that's what you were asking about. All right, so the survey. Do you already have a vaccine passport? So number one answer was no, flat out no. Half of you guys, 50% says no, you don't have your vaccine passport. And it looks like you guys don't have an option because 17% of you said no, but I will get one soon. So that's 67% of you guys that don't have a vaccine passport. And 32% of you guys have a vaccine passport, which is really awesome. So yeah, it looks like it's not widespread just yet. I mean, there is starting to be some talks around New Zealand about requiring vaccination. And in order to require vaccination, you need a standardized way to prove that you have the vaccine. So for this reason, we think vaccine passport is the future. But yeah, interesting. Mm-hmm. I really thought there would be some more. I really thought more people will have a vaccine passport. But to be fair, even some of friends in New Zealand, they had no idea.
No.
Yeah, interesting.
We took our vaccine passports to the nurses giving us our vaccine, and they were actually confused by, I don't think they were 100% familiar with what one was anyway. So even people working in the healthcare industry were a little bit shocked.
All right, what is Fabio saying?
Fabio saying, baby burns means great lodges and so on in general. Maybe. We need some confirmation by Baby Burns or some more. We got a little confused on the question. Yeah. All right, guys. So, it looks like there's no more questions coming through. So, again, what is coming up? What articles are you working on this week on NZ Pocket Guide? I'm working on packing lists. So, lists for all the different seasons, and a general sort of packing list if you are if you want an all-season packing list. So yeah, basically everything you could possibly need to know about what to pack for New Zealand. I'm working on those articles. I have been working on brand new sort of general travel guides for New Zealand. If you just want a place to start your research and you don't know, where you don't know where to start, all you need to do is just search for our New Zealand travel guides and on NZ Pocket Guide, and we have heaps of travel guides for specific types of travelers. And I think what else will I be working on? Quite a lot. There's a lot of things. I'm working on some more sort of budgeting articles. So yeah, we did receive some questions today about like budgeting. How much can you expect to spend on certain things like transport and accommodation and things like that? And I'll be working on some more sort of budgeting articles in that respect, and a lot of really other random questions and sort of things that people are often asking, but we don't have an article on yet. So I'll be sort of filling up the gaps, and so you guys can get every single one of your questions answered about traveling in New Zealand.
HBDE. I'm just going to go for HBD now. It's too long. No. He says every country needs to do what France just did. If you don't have a vaccine passport or a negative test result, you don't get into a restaurant or coffee. And record 1 million people signed up for a vaccine in one day. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Well,
if they can't go to a restaurant or cafe, it's time to sign up.
Whereas the French are supposed to smoke their cigarettes then during the lunch break and get you a glass of wine.
Exactly. God, that's not surprising.
So yeah, and his name is Hugo. Okay, I'm gonna go for Hugo now from now on. That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, every country is able to do whatever they want. It wouldn't really work in New Zealand since we didn't really have major outbreaks in the country, so people would get pretty upset. Like Laura had a COVID test actually not that long ago. I never even had to have one because I never even had a cold symptom or any of that. And, so Laura had a bit of a sniffle when she went, sore throat when she went to the doctor. They're like, hey, it's the Q-tip.
Up your nose it goes.
So, it's not really necessary in New Zealand because we were kind of so close and so bubbled already. But yeah, I don't think, I think, as I mentioned during the news segment, the public have validated their response here in New Zealand. So I think they're going to keep with that because the job of a politician, after all, is to get re-elected, not anything else. So they will do whatever they have to do to get the people happy, to get voted in again.
Yeah.
And so far, this is what they need to do. Okay. Nathan's asking you, Laura, how many articles do you do in a week for the website?
Well, it depends which website. So if you don't know, we also run websites for some South Pacific islands as well. So we have
Tonga, Fiji,
yeah,
and New Zealand, of course.
So for the South Pacific websites, I do about 40 articles a week. And for New Zealand, I'm doing at the moment about 30 articles a week.
So that's when she spent a week writing those articles, So that doesn't mean she does all that combined, but 1 week she'd be like, okay, I'm going to work for the South Pacific Islands, and sometimes she's going to say, okay, I'm going to work for New Zealand right now, and she does article in that way.
Yes.
That's kind of how things work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are we? We're having Anthony that says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Here you go. And Nathan says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. There's a new competition.
Yeah.
Robert says, nothing from Kiwi Lauren. The temperature in Saskatchewan is 32 degrees Celsius, and it feels like 38. She must be cooking there.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard from her.
Maybe she's just greeting. She's just in the pool right now. She's probably in the shower, taking a cold shower, and I'd be like, I miss winter.
Yeah.
Yusef says, please, what is the best small group company? Join in. Thanks. Small group company. What's this new company which is doing really awesome?
Backyard Roadies.
Yes, Backyard Roadies is really cool. That's really small groups. And they run very limited tours around New Zealand, but they're really cool. The guy that owns the company is also the driver and everything.
Go on the website.
Is really cool. Yes, so I will find that for you.
So go on the we do have an article on the website which is the best small group tours around New Zealand. So just type in small group in the search and you should be able to find it. So we have done a comparison article of all the different types of small group bus tours that are running around New Zealand. Admittedly, some of them have closed down at the moment because of COVID, because the borders aren't open.
I just want to mention something. So sometimes on the website, we do leave some companies because we think they're going to come back, right?
Reopen.
They're mothballed. They're basically just stopped temporarily. Otherwise, doing the updates on the website during COVID would be literally removing most of the content and then replacing it back afterwards. So just so you guys are aware, sometimes there are some websites which are closed on the website, but that's for a reason.
Yeah, but we know that Backyard Roadies, which we're just mentioning right now, they're a fairly new company, but they are running tours around New Zealand at the moment, which is really awesome. And
you have some other inspirations right here.
Yes. So
on this place, right?
Yeah. So if you want to head over to the best small group tours in New Zealand, we do have listings telling you the sort of destinations they go to, how many people are actually on their tours as well. So make sure that the group is small enough for how small you want it to be. And there's lots of really cool companies to take you around New Zealand with just a few other like-minded people. And it's a really cool way to experience the country and not be in a huge bus where you're just a number. You're actually with a small group of people and you're all good friends.
Yes. So check out Backyard Roadies.
Yeah.
And then we have Nerus Satiros that says, please open to New South Wales. That's a state in Australia, if you guys don't know, after mid-August.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, let me just call Jacinda right now. Hey, Jacinda, yeah, you're not too busy doing prime ministering stuff right now? No? Okay, yeah. I know it's Sunday morning. Do you mind opening to New South Wales right now? Thank you very much. Bye. So, yeah, we'll see. Listen,
we'll have our fingers crossed for you.
All right, and Nathan says, have a safe and good day, Laura and Robin. Nice one. Okay, and Fabio is, no, it's New South
New
Wales.
Zealand Wales?
New South Wales is one of the largest states in Australia, and because they have had outbreaks, so the bubbles between New Zealand and Australia has closed for some states, so it's like open on and off and on and off. So that's the context for you, Fabio, behind Nereus's questions. Here you go. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Again, keep up to date with the channel by subscribing. We will have some more videos for you, and if there is, some need, we'll do a video when we get a vaccine on Thursday as well. But no matter what, there's going to be a fun video coming up on Saturday with the worst travel advice for New Zealand we've ever received. And yes, Fabio, it's more fun instead New Zealand walls. Hugo says, thank you guys for the content. Hopefully I will choose to go to New Zealand instead of France.
Yeah,
you know what? You choose whatever you prefer. But yeah, and if you do have some more questions, feel free to pop back in again next week or check out on the channel. We have a lot of content there, including a lot about the cost of life in New Zealand. So that may help you a lot. Have a nice day, everybody. Have a nice day, Fabio. Have a nice day, Robert. Have a nice day, Hugo. Have a nice day, Nathan. Have a nice day. Who else was there? Kalo, she was here. Emoji guy. Anthony Comstock. Martina.
News producer Robert Laliberte.
Yes. Hafiz. Have a nice day. Bernie. Have a nice day. Who else do we have?
Sandra.
David Burrow. Have a nice day. Ashwin. Have a nice day.
Clay was pretty quiet today.
Yeah. He's probably hands full with the kids. It's school holiday right now.
That's true.
He's probably having a nightmarish of a week. I mean, enjoy life with the kids.
And on that note, see you next week. Enjoy the school holidays.